All right, we're ready to read Herbie Jones and the second grade Slippers. Wonder what that means. Have you thought about what you think the title means? So in chapter 1, we're going to find out about some boys and what they think makes school fun. So we're going to find out. Chapter 1 is called Sailor Hats and Guppies. Guppies. Do you know what guppies mean? Yep, fish. It's a type of fish. So we're going to be thinking about adjectives, those describing words that are used to describe the guppies in the classroom fish tank in this chapter. Sailor hats and guppies. We're going to start reading on page 1, so please follow along with me. Herbie and Raymond walked into their classroom. Herbie took his sailor hat off a hook and put it on his head. Ray did the same. I like sailing through second grade, Herbie said. Miss S makes school fun. He does, Ray replied. Then he took out a notebook and pen from his backpack. What's your phone number, Herbie? 525-3942. Herbie was glad Raymond had just moved into his neighborhood from Minnesota. Now you give me yours, Ray. While the boys were exchanging numbers, Annabelle Louisa Hodgkiss came up behind them. Excuse me, she said. I need to get my sailor hat. Herbie noticed Annabelle's still looked brand new. It didn't have any dirty finger smudges on it like his and Ray's. Before the morning bell rang, some kids gathered around the 10-gallon tank in the science corner. The silvery gray guppies were swimming around. There are 12, Margie counted. 4 more than Friday, Herbie added. See the 4 biggest ones? Annabelle asked. They're females. I'm glad Mr. S. brought them in, Sarah Sitwillington said. Annabelle giggled. Then she said, Guppies are from Venezuela and Trinidad. They help control mosquitoes by feeding on their larvae. Boy, she's pretty smart, isn't she? Ray made a face. He had no idea what larvae meant. Annabelle was a big know-it-all, he thought. I love guppies, Sarah replied. When Annabelle giggled again, Sarah went back to her seat and put her head down on her desk. Margie shook her head. You hurt her feelings, Annabelle. You should never laugh at somebody who stutters. Have you ever met somebody that stutters, boys and girls? When they're talking, they're trying to get their words out, and they sometimes stutter, meaning that they say the first part of the word over and over again, and that would be no reason at all to laugh at somebody, because they can't help that. Annabelle shrugged. So she just went like this. Mr. Schnellenberger looked over. He had heard the entire conversation. Annabelle, Herbie thought. He felt like tossing her overboard. All right, so boys and girls, what makes school fun in chapter 1? Yep, because they like to pretend. They like to pretend that they were sailors by putting on hats and getting dressed up, right? So they were having a good time, and then Annabelle came over, and she was describing the guppies. Do you remember how she described them? What did she say to them? Yep, she was telling them that they were females, and they help control mosquitoes by feeding on their larvae. So, I would say that some of the adjectives were maybe fish and, well, like green fish, because we're describing them. And so other than them being silvery and green, I guess that would be all that they said. Maybe that they were females too, but that isn't really describing what they look like, unless they look, I guess because they're bigger, Annabelle thought. The bigger ones are the females. All right, so next time we read, we're going to find out what happens, and it's called The Big Announcement. Do you think that Annabelle did the right thing by laughing at somebody? No, we talked about that. It's never a good idea to laugh at somebody, is it? And when somebody stutters, meaning that they say that word over and over again when they're trying to talk, they can't help that. So I don't think Annabelle was being a very nice girl in the story so far. But can characters change throughout a story? They can, just like people can change. All right, so next time we'll read chapter 2 called The Big Announcement.